Thought I forgot something. Hey, there we go. Geez, it takes a long time for it to convert over. It's April Davis PI, and it is Saturday. We're going to wait for some people to come in. Saturday, April 4th, 2026. Wow, I got a thumbs up, and it's saying 0 viewers. Jane, I'm so glad you came in. I have a message for you once we get started, and you're going to laugh. Something that I noticed in the recap of yesterday's video when I was looking back at it, I was just like, am I really that stupid? Hey, Jamie James. Hey, Rita Close. Yesterday was a crazy show. I've just got to wait for some people to come in. Give it a few minutes. It's so funny. I watched it back and I was like, did I really say that? So I wrote your name down in my notes, like, remember to call out Jane so that you don't think I'm a complete idiot. You know, it's just cognitive issues at this old age, combined with all the anesthesia and medication and prior chemos and radiation and the heart troubles. Like, sometimes it takes a couple minutes for things to connect. Oh my gosh. Let me get the iPad set up really quick while I'm waiting for you guys to come in. Just let me know if you can hear me and see me. Sometimes we do have mic issues with these very cheap microphones. Let me just set up. It's telling me to set up a goal. I think I'm just going to set the goal one time, and then when we're there, we're there. Can somebody answer my question? Can you hear me while we're setting up? Yes. Oh, thank you for answering that. I'm just setting this up. Yeah, it's prompting me on the screen now that I'm monetized. This was just too funny. Okay, 14 people here. Here we go. I'm April Davis PI to be exact. I'm a licensed private investigator in Los Angeles, California, and welcome to my YouTube channel. It is Saturday, April the 4th. Yes, 8 days before my birthday, where I will be the oldest I have ever been. Before we get started, we are going to talk today. I need to resume talking about the Nancy Guthrie case. It's day 63. Hi, Carla. But let's just start out with a bit of housekeeping. First of all, I need to address Jane Rice here. We were talking about YouTube channels yesterday, and she goes, oh, we watched Jackie in Florida. And I was like, oh, I never heard of that one before. And then I realized, ding, 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 after I went off the air, you're talking about Jackie the Eagle from Big Bear Lake. Yeah. Now I know what you're talking about, Rita. And yes, we do have a hatchling since yesterday. It actually came last night, but the hatchling is still in the egg with just the head and the beak sticking out of the egg. The egg is still around the baby, but we do have a hatchling. Recluse in the house. Welcome in. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. Never seen you before. Where are you coming in from? So I got your reference, Jane. Wow, 31 people. And a couple other things. There was a guy last night in the chat, a new friend, who came in from Israel, and he said that he had sent a PayPal. Now, the guy also sent 8 super chats. So I assume it's okay to talk about it. Since he mentioned it, I'm not going to name the amount unless he tells me it's okay. Hey, Ashley Calder. Welcome in. So he said that he sent me a PayPal, but I can't see the notifications during the lives. I have to turn those off. And I did go into the email, and I did receive it. So thank you, my new friend, Sepra from Israel, from Tel Aviv. I appreciate you so much. You're from the Philippines, but you're in the United States. Well, welcome in. Yeah, so there was 13 super chats last night. Kathy Mallory, she joined the channel. She also sent out a gift membership. And then after I went off the air, I need to call out, I don't want to forget anybody, LP3998, welcome to my channel. Hi, Stokes family. Where are you coming in from? I think you're new. This is going to be a video about Nancy Guthrie. But there's one more thing I need to address while we're bringing people in. I don't know if you guys have gone over to my homepage of my channel. You'll see some links in the channel description. I do have a Whatnot account. It's like eBay, but it's live selling. If you have not clicked that link and you're not signed up, you should use my code because they'll give you $15. And I just added 2 items today to my Whatnot store because you can sell there even when you're not live. I added some poker chips that have the old channel logo on them. Those are on my Whatnot store. I also added some stickers that my friend Alaskan Assassin Adventures, he's a fellow YouTuber in Alaska, very remote Alaska. He designed these. Those are also, I've got 25 of those listed, and I've got the last 15 poker chips. So if you guys want to grab some of these at no cost other than the shipping, sign up for my Whatnot, get your free $15, and you can go check me out and you can buy something. Or you can just buy something from somebody else's store. Just wanted to let you know that those are up there. So now I'm going to read or try to read my chicken scratch notes. This is really it's sad that I have to say it's day number 63. And here is the latest. The laboratory in Florida where the DNA samples were sent, they're still working on the mixed DNA samples. Apparently some of the samples, besides the one that confirmed that it was Nancy's blood on the front porch, they have several samples from, I believe, inside the house, but they're mixed with other people because, she has a ton of people that come into her house, I would suspect, with her, Friday night get-togethers and members from the church and her family. So they're still working on the mixed DNA. That's the only hope that we have right now in this case, because there are no new suspects as of today. However, and let me just say however, and remember, hello, way high, or way too high. Remember, everybody here on my channel is innocent until proven guilty. And suspects or people of interest or names that are being thrown out into the news or the internet, nobody is guilty. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty. There is a house. We talked about it before. It's at the end of the cul-de-sac. You can actually see it from the front of Nancy's house. In fact, when you watch the front porch guy, ski mask guy, you can see lights on in the background. Those lights are from the house at the end of the cul-de-sac that's right at the end of her driveway. And there's been a construction crew there. I don't know if they're professional contractors or they're just laborers, handymen, but they are apparently visiting the U.S. from Mexico. They come across and they, I guess, work and stay at the house, and then they leave for a while, then they come back. And supposedly, right where the front porch, where the blood driplets or droplets stopped, where she was, it has been confirmed that she was actively bleeding when she was taken. Those blood droplets suddenly stop right in front of the porch. They don't go all the way to the driveway or the street. And right where those blood droplets stop, you can see tracks in the soil. It's basically sand and dirt because it's the desert. But they almost look like somebody wheeled a trash bin. Now, it's weird that somebody would empty the trash from the front door. And remember, the scene was compromised after the first 20 hours. Funko or Funk Congress, are you a licensed private investigator? Yes. I do not have a history in law enforcement, but I've worked with law enforcement a lot as a licensed PI in California. Now, those tracks, people are saying it's a wheelbarrow, but I don't believe it's a wheelbarrow because you would have an actual wheel. Or it's a trash can bin, and those are the wheels going through the dirt. And people have surmised that possibly she, rather than being taken and driven away in a vehicle, which I think is probably how she was taken, that she could have been put into a bin, God forbid, because the blood just stops, and that bin could have been pushed up the hill to the house at the end of the cul-de-sac. Now I know that's going down a rabbit hole here. These are just internet rumors, but they're claiming that like within days of Nancy's disappearance, that those contractors or handymen, whoever they are that are working on that empty house, that they laid the concrete for a new swimming pool. And apparently another YouTuber was live in front of her house where some cop cars drove by, and people were telling me about it on my live. They were going to the house on the hill, on the cul-de-sac, to run into the backyard, the cops. But they only named the YouTuber. They didn't name which video. They were like, oh, it was about 4 days ago. And I checked it out, but there were so many videos from that YouTuber. I didn't have like 100 hours of my time to go through every single video to try to find that scene. So if anybody knows what that video was where the cop cars came rushing up the hill, please send me a link via my email. Thank you, Alina. That's my Disney hat. You look like somebody who gives really good hugs. May God bless you and give you blessings. Thank you, Philip. Could it be her heels and blood drips on clothes? She wasn't wearing any shoes, apparently, way too high. Funk Congress. I looked into becoming a licensed private investigator in Pennsylvania. It's difficult without experience in law enforcement. I was an investigator for Maryland Office of Inspector General. Wow, I used to live in Maryland. It's actually, yes, it's easier if you're a prior law enforcement person, but then you're not going to be prepared to go out and do what a licensed PI does, because a PI is a civilian, and ex-law enforcement is normally either disabled or retired, and they're just that, they're retired. So it's very hard. There are some very good PIs that are licensed that are prior law enforcement, but it's a much harder transition for them than someone who just starts out from scratch like I did. Hello, Jay. Hey, Lunas, welcome in. So that's going down a big rabbit hole, that she was pushed out in a bin. And, I would think that would make a lot of noise, dragging a trash barrel up the cul-de-sac at, 2:28 in the morning, because 2:28 was the time that her pacemaker stopped syncing. Didn't mean that it stopped. It just stopped syncing with her devices. But I just wanted to go over everything. Now, there's also this guy, this name Zach keeps coming up. Let's see. Jason says, very good at PI makes me think of Magnum PI. I've only ever seen one episode of that. This Zach Jaghoob, this Persian Jordanian man who may have or may not have been. Oh, hello, Italy. Welcome in. You know what? I'm monetized now. For a shout out, you'd have to send a super chat. This guy, this Persian Jordanian man, he is somehow connected to the MB Motors. We talked about this yesterday regarding the license plate rim on the car that was pulled over with Luke Daly, and then it was towed by the FBI. Apparently this MB Motors, and these are only internet rumors. Remember, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. We have no proof of any of this. They're claiming that he was either an employee or a bookkeeper or a salesman for that local used car dealership, and that the primary owner, because apparently there are two, but the primary owner allegedly is connected to the Russian mafia. Now, I didn't say it. I'm just repeating. I'm reporting on the news. OJ says Magnum is cool. Oh, thank you for the red hearts. Yeah, JD, or Jaden, I'm right in the middle of my my little speech right now. So we still don't know where Luke Daly bought the car. He says he bought that Range Rover that was towed by the FBI the day after Nancy Guthrie disappeared. But did this Zach Jaghoob sell it to him? Apparently not through the dealership, but privately. But the car that did have the proper paper plates which seems to me may have been secured from a dealership, did have the MB Motors tag. So that's going down a deep rabbit hole to say that this Persian Jordanian guy is working for a company that's connected to the Russian mafia. I'm just reporting the news. Now, this house, I think we already talked about this. Yeah, the house at the top of the cul-de-sac. That's going down a deep rabbit hole, too, to say that the body is located under the concrete that was poured for the new swimming pool. Now, why would these contractors from Mexico go take this lady out of her house if they didn't intend it to be a kidnapping for money? And then she may have passed that evening, especially if she was bleeding, and then hide a body and then send these ridiculous ransom letters demanding the Bitcoin, like the 6 million in Bitcoin. I mean, that can all be traced, people. I wouldn't be able to trace it because I'm not, an expert in doing things on the computer. I know just enough to have been able to run my businesses throughout the years and be able to connect to YouTube. But apparently, an expert person can trace Bitcoin. So if, God forbid, they could provide proof of life and that 6 million went into somebody's account, even though they say it's not traceable, I don't believe that at all. Why would somebody do that? That sounds like somebody that doesn't have a lot of intelligence. Those ransom notes do not seem real to me. Savannah has never seen them, but she was told, apparently by law enforcement, that two of them may have been real. Yeah, Lunas, nothing in this case from day one has made sense. And I'm only looking at it from a reporting aspect. I'm a reporter here, but my career has been a lifelong PI. And I'm not working this case, so I don't have access to the evidence that the family has, the police, and the FBI. Now, speaking of the ransom demand and the subsequent reward, remember the reward started at like $2,500, and then the FBI threw in $25,000, then they doubled it to $50,000, and then Savannah said, here's $1 million, and there was someone else that threw in what, 100,000? I don't even remember anymore, but it's up to like 1.2 million. If you want the specifics, you'd have to watch this whole crime series that I've done on the Nancy Guthrie case. Why has not one person, as far as the public knows, not one person has come forward trying to claim the reward? Doesn't somebody recognize Mask Man, Ski Mask Guy, Front Porch Guy? I mean, people were saying it was Luke Daly. Doesn't look anything like Luke Daly. Some people, and this is going out on a limb, say that the guy looks like this Persian Jordanian man, Zach Jaghoob, who may not even have been in the country that night, but he might have. We don't know. This is something that law enforcement should check out because his name keeps coming up. Then you have the sketch artist in Houston, who's that famous sketch artist that helps the police solve crimes by taking a very little piece of something and making an entire sketch. Well, that sketch kind of looks like that guy. Like, and she's just doing a sketch, but apparently she's a pro and she's helped law enforcement solve a lot of cases. Why has nobody claimed that reward? We're talking $1.2 million. I called in a tip to the FBI. They didn't take me seriously. Kind of makes me upset. And I don't know for sure. I don't know if it's a viable tip, but it's definitely something they could look into very easily. Nanos, he's been in the news today. His past keeps coming out. Someone was doing eye sketches yesterday. Oh, I didn't see that, Jay. It's bewildering and chilling at the same time. Yes, it is. None of this case makes sense. And I've, investigated a lot of cases in my career, and there's nothing about this that makes sense. We still don't know the motive yet. If we could just establish the motive, then maybe, we could start narrowing the suspect list down. But if you haven't seen my suspect list video, go to my video tab on the homepage of my channel and see that most recent long-form content regarding the suspects, named in no particular order other than the order that their names popped up in this case. Nanos. Let's talk about Nanos, also known as Sheriff Bananos. Eyes is all we have. Well, we've got the eyebrows, though, too. The eyes, the eyebrows, the facial hair, and we've got the arm part of it, a very small part of it. Apparently, in 2024, this Nanos guy, oh my God, it never ends with this guy, this knucklehead. He was detained and read his Miranda rights in a local airport by TSA for carrying a loaded gun in his bag that he tried to check through TSA. Now, law enforcement, they are allowed to board a plane with their service weapon loaded. However, you have to file paperwork before you get to the airport or before you walk through that metal detector. And is this guy just a total dope? And apparently now they're saying, well, he was given special treatment because he was the Pima County Sheriff. Like, use your head. Does this guy have a brain? He's now denying that the rumors that the homicide detective who was the supervisor assigned to this case, that he or she had never worked a homicide case before. Nanos is saying that's not true at all. And he's spouting off names of cases that person's been involved in. But apparently, the detectives and the supervisor, they're very inexperienced. It sounds a lot to me like what was going on in the Boulder Police Department at the time that they had to investigate the JonBenet Ramsey case. In fact, those weren't even homicide people. Those were narcotics detectives in her case. Loaded in airport, another no-no. Exactly. You can transport the gun and I think the ammo separately, but you have to have the paperwork in order before you go check through TSA. This is the same guy who they now can I speak? They found out that years ago he was a cop in El Paso, Texas, and that he lied on his application that he filed with Pima County. I guess he was a deputy in Pima County after he was a deputy in El Paso, but he lied about how long he worked for the El Paso. Was it either the police department or the sheriff's department? He lied about time served. He lied about the reason he no longer was served or is serving there because of many problems that they had with him in that department. Can't cross Illinois either. Oh, okay. Yeah. Nanos lied on his application. Then he tried to carry a loaded weapon through a TSA checkpoint in an airport. Now, this happened in 2024, but it's now all these things that he's done in the past are all coming to light now. And, I know that he's like the leader. He's not the one that's actually out, investigating the crime and gathering the evidence, but he's the one in charge. It's just like when I have my company, before the disability and the cancer and everything that happened to me, I had independent contractors that were licensed, insured like myself that worked for me. But if one of them messed up, it was on my back because the name of the company is April Davis Investigations. And with the Pima County Sheriff's Department, he is the elected Pima County Sheriff. So when somebody F's up in his department, guess who is responsible? Sheriff Nanos. It's on his back. Whether it's a training issue, it's a morale issue, you have to be the leader. You have to be a leader. You don't allow a crime scene in a case, especially a case that's going to get worldwide attention, because this woman is the daughter of the Today co-host, Savannah Guthrie. This is a big, big case. And he was so busy being on TV and getting his 15 minutes of fame the day after this happened that his deputies were out there and his homicide unit was out there releasing the crime scene in 20 hours, even before the FBI was called in. Just, oh, hello, Desane. I mean, as an investigator for 42 years, and I'm not even law enforcement, but that's like ludicrous. That alone should get this guy fired. And because he is elected, I don't know if they can just say, you're fired, get out of here, or they have to, you know, there's a petition going around Tucson to get them recalled. I guess it's not an easy thing to do when you're that high, where they can't just say, get out, go home in one day, like they did with the guy, the young 22-year-old deputy who detained an arrestee in the back of a patrol car, and now they're accusing him of, kidnapping and S-related crimes, so to speak. Yeah, you can just say, get out of here. And they haven't even finished that investigation on that guy yet, but he was fired immediately based on some of the things that they could prove, immediately after that allegedly happened to that young girl. Maybe it's going to be a little harder to get rid of Nanos, but I've been like trying to say, let's give this guy a chance. Let's see how it all rolls out. Obviously, he's not going to be able to speak about everything that's happened, but I think he spoke too much, and he's like, oh, nobody is clear. Then these people are cleared. Nobody is cleared. I don't care what he says. No one is clear. I will say that till I'm blue in the face, just as I will say everybody here in this chat, everybody I've ever mentioned, every picture I put on every thumbnail. I don't care what the evidence is. You are innocent until proven guilty. Same thing with Joseph Duggar. Even though he confessed to his victim's father, who we believe is his father-in-law, and had a recorded confession by Town, is that how you pronounce that in Arkansas? Town Police Department. Then he goes into the court, or actually it was a Zoom call from the jail in Bay County, Florida, where he does his arraignment and he goes, oh, I'm innocent. I'm pleading innocent. Remember, even people that have confessed are innocent until proven guilty. And because he was just like, yeah, I'm innocent, they had to offer him some bail. And there was Jim Bob with the bail bondsman, let's walk right out the door and, let the pieces fall where they fall. And we're not really talking about, the Duggars today. I mean, we can if you like, but remember, I can't emphasize it enough. Innocent until proven guilty. But, I do not like the way this case has been handled. We are not talking day 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or even a week. We are talking day number 63. This happened hours after the evening of January 31st, on February 1st. We are now at April 4th. Savannah, she's already back in New York. She returns to the Today Show Monday. I just can't imagine what she's going through to have to go back to her job on Monday when she still has no clue where her mother is, who did it, or how she's even going to get, I hate to say it, remains for closure. And now I've said what I needed to say today. I probably missed a lot of your comments. Also, I am doing this vertically from the cell phone. I do have the iPad right beside me. I'm not doing it at my desk. So sometimes the desktop will show me comments that don't show up on the phone or the iPad. So if I haven't responded to you, it may be because I am not seeing your comments. So thank you for being patient. And I'm really stoked that I have somebody in here from Italy. That's amazing. Who here was at yesterday's show? Is anybody here? I know Jay was there. How many of you were in yesterday's show? I think that was the best show I ever had, and I had not even planned to go on yesterday. Yeah, Recluse was there. I remember that. Yeah, the end of the show, there was 13 super chats, 8 from a man in Israel, a PayPal donation, and I'm not going to say how much that is unless he wants me to say that. Anything that's sent off the channel, I'll keep it private, but he did say during the chat, like, oh, I sent a PayPal too. So that was the same dude. Kathy, she joined my channel. She also gifted. I can't remember who she gifted to, but somebody received a gifted membership. So thank you, Kathy. And then since I went off the air, I did get a third membership yesterday, which is just mind-blowing to me because I started out with one. I got one from LP3998. I have not seen that person before in the chat, but welcome to the channel. Hi, Mike. Welcome in. Oh, you just stumbled across this tonight and you've subbed. Well, thank you. Make sure you click the bell icon and click all, and then you'll get notified whenever I go live. And make sure that you also understand that I do have a homepage with a channel description, and there's a video tab and a shorts tab and a playlist tab. A lot of people here are just watching or they're replaying the lives, and that's fine. I enjoy, views are views. Most of the views that I've received from Nancy Guthrie don't count because I didn't get monetized until the late evening of the 25th. So I think I've had over like 100,000 views on her videos up to that point, and I didn't get paid for any of it. But it did help, build my channel and give me the hours that were needed so that I could reapply for the monetization. So that's one big hurdle that I'm over. Now the next hurdle is just to get my views up. That's more important than anything. And I appreciate everybody that sent me a Venmo or a PayPal or a Cash App or a Super Chat or a membership or even those little jewels, which I wasn't even familiar with. Thank you for all of that. But the most important thing you can do is to just keep watching. Now, there was someone that came in last night. I don't remember who it was because he uses like 4 different usernames, I think, if I'm thinking of the right user. But someone came in saying they wanted me to go back on last night. I had already been on for over 2 hours. My voice was shot. I needed to eat, relax, just do some back-end administrative work on the channel. And he said he had a bunch to report. Well, that guy has sent emails today, or no, comments. He sent comments. Actually, I think he did send an email too, but I haven't got to it yet, saying that JLR, Jonathan Lee Riches of JLR Investigates, that he got some sort of, I don't know if it was an arrest or he got a citation today at the airport. I have no idea what that's about. I haven't heard a thing in the news about that. So if anybody hears or here knows about Jonathan Lee Riches getting into some, I don't know if it was a scuffle or a disagreement and being either arrested, detained, or cited at an airport, feel free to type it into the chat. Oh, thank you so much, Lunas. Lunas says, "You're clear and concise. I like that. Thanks." Hey, Lunas, what part of Italy are you from? Because I've actually been to Italy. Oh my God, I just mentioned you. Here we go. Okay, this guy he's a beast. And I don't know if you were here earlier, Sarap. I know that you mentioned it during the live yesterday that you had also sent a PayPal. And I can't see notifications or PayPal while I'm live, or notifications if the do not disturb is not turned on and one of the alarms goes off, it can cut me off right in the middle of my show. So I did see that last night, and I won't disclose the amount unless you want me to. Thank you so much, Sarap. I did get the PayPal, which supposedly was an advance, an early birthday gift. So thank you, sir. You know, that's just, thank you so much. And I learned last night, I learned about Israeli shekels because I've seen a lot of my YouTuber friends get like super chats that come in from other countries. And you have to everybody's like, oh, what currency is that? Where is that from? And it was really fun to look it all up. So thank you so much. Thank you again. And welcome to my channel. I hope you are subscribed. I assume you are since you saw that I came in. Okay, Jay says she heard that he was arrested. Do you know what he was arrested for, Jay, in reference to JLR Investigates? I just heard that he was either arrested or cited at an airport. You're welcome, Sarap. Does anybody know why? Yeah, I've got people that are commenting on the videos now. I've got people that are sending me messages on the back end, aprildavispi at Gmail. I do get to those, but I usually see them at the end of the day. I can't possibly respond. At first, I was like printing them out and saving them, but now I realize I can't even do that anymore, just because I don't have enough paper and ink. So, but yeah, yesterday was banner. Like I mean, I'm not a successful YouTuber yet. I haven't seen a penny yet. So to get 13 super chats, which should put me over the threshold to receive a check in May, and to get 2 channel memberships during the show, and one of which was gifted by another user, and then to get one after the show from LP3998. I'm not sure who you are, but thank you so much. Maybe that person can come in sometime and watch the shows live. I have not seen that user before. And then, not to forget, someone sent me like 150 jewels. I think that equates to like 1.5 rubies or something. Like, I think it was like $1.50. I don't know. I don't know how they calculate that yet. I wish, from when I was briefly monetized in 2024, that when they did the payments, they would actually give you like a receipt. Like, in the old days, when I was a W-2 employee, that was, Jesus, more than 30 years ago. You get the paycheck, and then you get the little receipt that's got like, okay, this is for this is for this. Like, you don't get those with YouTube. You are in Umbria, Italy right now, but I live between Scotland, UK, and here now I'm retired. Wow. Yeah, I have been to Venice, Florence, and Rome, but I was 9 years old. I have not been to Scotland, but I am part Scottish. I have a lot of British, Irish, and German blood in me. And I have about 3.5% Italian in me. And I don't know which side of the family it is from. So I wish I knew, like, where does the Italian come into my DNA? But yeah, just a little wee bit Italian, but mostly British, Irish, and German. So, and I've never been to Germany either, but I have been to the UK, I've been to France, and I've been to Switzerland, and I've been to Italy. And I have briefly crossed the border at Canada as a child on a camping trip. And my family has actually lived in Canada, but I was already grown up and out of the house. Now I look back on that and think, gosh, I wish they had done that 10 years before, and then I could have been a dual citizen. Because the United States is kind of a very scary place to live right now, to be truthful. But we're not going to get into politics here. But welcome, Lunas471. I really appreciate you coming in from Italy. Does anybody have anything to say today about? We could talk about anything. Nancy Guthrie. We could talk about JLR. Remember, innocent until proven guilty. We can talk about a little bit about Joseph Duggar. Austrian, German, and English. Yeah, I have ancestry that goes back to London, says Jay. Austrian, German, and English. This Joseph Duggar thing is getting more bizarre by the day. I have watched their shows over the years. I'm not an expert on the Duggars. Like, there's another lady that's a huge YouTuber in Minnesota, and she's like the cream of the crop. I would never even try to compete with that. I mean, she's got her sources. She does this for a living. And occasionally when I have time, I'll watch a little bit of her videos. Heidi! Oh my gosh, here we go. Is that my first super chat from Heidi? Thank you so much, honey. Were you here in yesterday's show? Yeah, I got 13. And also, when I was briefly monetized back, it was just a very small part of 2024 into like the first month of 2025. I had these old channel logos, and they're on a poker chip. If you guys would like to get one of these at basically no cost other than the shipping, go to my Whatnot store. Go to the link on the main channel page, the home page, go under the description where you see all my links, if you're not already signed up to Whatnot, which is an online shopping platform, I do have a store in there, just like I have an eBay store. But if you're not a user, they'll give you $15. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. A double. Lunas from Italy. Welcome in. And my old friend, Kellyanne. Thank you, Kellyanne. It's crazy. If anybody would like one of these, but they don't want to pay for it, because I'm just trying to get rid of them because it's one of my older logos, just go and sign up for Whatnot. If you're not already signed up, Whatnot will give you $15. The only thing I would get in exchange for that is they would give me a $5 spending credit after you buy something, which should be covered with the $15, and after you receive it from whoever you bought it from. So these are available, and it is available to go international. But I would check the shipping charges, and it'll tell you exactly what the shipping charges are. That's not included in the $15 in credits. Also, there's another YouTuber here, has a smaller channel in the gold community named Alaskan Assassin Adventures. He designed a bunch of logos for his fellow gold community friends, and he sent the logo for Christmas as a gift. I appreciate him so much. The guy has the best merch on YouTube, and I went ahead and ordered up these stickers. I wish they had been a little bigger. I didn't realize they were going to be this small, but those are also on my Whatnot channel or my Whatnot store. So if you're not signed up for Whatnot, you can get one of these stickers, and you'll probably get reduced shipping if you bought more than one item. And then, you could buy these like in separate transactions, but they would be bulk shipped under one cost. Just wanted to put that in. How are the animals? They're all sleeping right now. Thank God. Everybody's chill. Remember, the bunny sleeps during the day for the most part. Obviously she eats a lot. Bunnies just eat, sleep, and you know what. But she's up all night guarding the place. But the cat, she's suspiciously quiet right now, and I don't want to call her name because I think she's like under my bed or something. Yeah, she's still a growing kitty, She's only 2. Wow, I can't believe it. I have 4 already? Did I lose track? Let me heart those. Oh my God. Kellyanne, Lunas, who else did we have here? Heidi, and Sarap. Like, Sarap, you know what? I went to bed last night so happy thinking, have I finally learned how to crack the YouTube algorithm? And that's a positive thought. But I also looked at my numbers as far as my views, and the most views that I had were during the Nancy Guthrie series between February 1st up to that March 25th, like probably over 100,000 views. And like not one of them will count towards Google AdSense. It did build up my watch hours, and without those, I would have never been able to reapply for monetization. So I appreciate all of you that came into the lives, who watched the replays, who commented on the videos. But I won't get paid a penny for those views. So my number one challenge now is to not only keep making videos, but I need to have time to go back to my long form content as well. I think I've only made one recently, and that was on the Nancy Guthrie list of suspects. So everybody, just keep watching. That's what will help me the most. Oh, animals. I love a furry friend. A cat. I love cats. Yeah, I have a cat and I have a bunny. In fact, there's quite a bit of animals. If you're interested in watching animals, you can go to my playlist, click the one that says animals, and you'll see my old cat, Alfie, who was my mixed Maine Coon, 28 pounds. You'll see Kelsa, Kitty. You will see Amelia, Kensley Bunny. You will see a blue Kensley Bunny. You will see the zoos. LA Zoo. You'll see the elephants. Now, sadly, if you see the videos, the LA elephants, which should have gone to a sanctuary, they were literally, I almost say kidnapped in the middle of the night. I will get teary-eyed if I talk about it. I cry in one of my videos. I'm sorry, but they got taken to Tulsa, Tina and Billy, and I never got a chance to go over there and say goodbye because of my heart ailments. And I've just heard from very bad news from Tulsa that Tina, she's very ill right now. And Tina the elephant, who's had it so hard, she may not survive. Yeah, they are trying to decide what they're going to do, but let's say some prayers for Tina the elephant. You know, she's at her new zoo, which is better than where she was here in LA, but it's still not adequate. You know, to think she suffered her whole life in zoos, and now, you know, she's supposed to be at her final destination, and she is extraordinarily ill right now. I don't know all the details. It's just like, I just can't handle that right now on top of everything else that has happened. But I do have some really cool videos from the LA Zoo. If you're into animals, giraffes, elephants, monkeys, bunnies, kitties, is all there. Yeah, the zoo really took a bad hit during COVID, and I don't think the LA Zoo is ever going to recover from that COVID hit. Many of the animals somehow just died or disappeared during COVID. Yeah, poor Tina the elephant. Like, I don't want her to suffer. You know, if they have to put her down, then so be it. Oh gosh. Let's not talk about the elephants right now. It's just, it's horrifying what has happened to these animals. And then that would mean that Billy, all of his girl elephants, Tina and Jewel, and then there was another one that they got. They had both passed. Jewel and the other one had passed. Like, he will be the only one. And, you know, people were trying to get him out of the zoo, even back in the day where Bob Barker, you know, Bob Barker from the Price is Right host, for decades, he tried to get Billy rescued from that zoo. I was happy when I heard they were going to Tulsa, but then I didn't know at the time that the deal was on the table for a sanctuary in Tennessee. And uh, our mayor just, our mayor of LA, we don't get political here, but she is the worst mayor in the United States of America, and she is the worst thing that has ever happened to the city of Los Angeles. And even though I'm in the same political party as her, I did not vote for her. I did not. Because I will vote for the best candidate. I won't vote just by party. I will vote for the best candidate. And she has, you know, our city burned down thanks to her. She was partially responsible for that. And she had some sort of, I think, financial deal to get those elephants out of here. And they needed to be removed, but shackled and robbed from their pens in the middle of the night was not the way to do it. Bob was a great person for animal protection. Yes, he was. He dedicated his life to that. Just like Betty White, you know, and I've worked with Betty White before. She's dedicated her life to helping the animals. In fact, at the LA Zoo, in the Amazon part of the LA Zoo, there is a big placard that says Betty White London, and it's for the jaguars, one of which I had adopted. You have these, you can adopt animals. I've adopted animals from quite a few places. There was a pet place that was in Utah, and I adopted or rescued, not rescued, but adopted a bunny from Utah. And my niece helped me adopt a bat from Texas, from the bat sanctuary. And I've adopted a few animals from the LA Zoo, but the jaguar that I adopted has since been moved. It's not an ideal situation there either, because I think they could be up to 3 now, or they might still be at 2, but there's a male and a female, and they can't be out at the same time. So it's not an ideal situation. You know, animals like jaguars and mountain lions, they need, you know, maybe 500 to 1,000 square miles to roam, which they're not going to get in a zoo. So, you know, I'm for wildlife conservation and preservation, but there are certain species of animals that should not be in zoos. People that dedicate their life to saving animals and looking after them are the best. Yeah, all my animals have been rescues, all of them. From shelters, from rescue shops, from animals being illegally sold over the internet. Yeah, I know we went off topic here, but yeah, if you're interested, I know someone made the comment that she likes, she likes cats and bunnies. Well, go to my video tab, go to my playlist, and you can see I got tons of animal videos. Yes, rescued pets have to be saved big time. Yes. You've seen tigers. Yeah, I've seen tigers too. Jamie James. I saw the tigers in Las Vegas that used to be at the Mirage, and they were part of that show. And they would be like literally in the hotel behind these glass enclosures, and I don't think that's right at all. Small apartments and tigers, how abusive. Exactly. Well, it's illegal to own a tiger. That's a wild animal. Oh, thank you, Loomis. Yeah, there are tigers that are sold on the black market, and that you don't ever get an animal from the black market. Set them free. Yeah, those elephants, they should have been set free decades ago. Billy the male has had so much suffering. I mean, the LA Zoo had one of the biggest elephant enclosures of all the zoos in the country. Tulsa was, I guess, voted one of the worst, but they redid their enclosure to like 17 acres, but it's still too small. Hey, good day, Melissa. Oh, I wish you had been here yesterday. You have to rewatch yesterday's video once the chat is finally uploaded again. 13 super chats. We met the goal and then some. 2 new memberships. Another member came in after the show. A couple people sent gifts, those little jewels. And then, what else happened? Oh, I got a PayPal donation from some guy that sent 8 super chats. Is he still here? Sarap, thank you so much. It was crazy. It's not even my birthday till the 12th, but wow. It was a really good show. You'll have to watch it, Melissa. Jamie James, I grew up going to the circus every year when I was little. No longer. The circus doesn't exist anymore. My parents took me to the circus, and although I think they thought that was important, as a grown-up, I do not approve of circuses. I just don't. There's a lot of abuse of the elephants and the tigers and any of the animals you see in the circus. They are highly abused. I've seen some of the elephants from the Ringling Brothers Circus absolutely collapse. They literally collapse after the shows. They're beat. I do not support circuses, and I was dragged to them all the time when I was a child. I was dragged off on fishing trips when I was a child. You know how many times I've gone fishing as an adult? 0. As an adult, don't fish, don't go to circuses. Hold on. What did I miss? Melissa says, I hear it's all happening at Nancy's house again. What is happening there? That poor family, they must have been information. Okay, I'm missing something. Yeah, as a kid, you don't realize that that's true. It's heartbreaking to see the animals dancing around. It's awful. Absolutely. Jamie says, I don't fish either. Yeah, fish feel pain. Oh, the cops are there again? Again! and the scene is still not secure. So do you mean Pima County Sheriff? Yeah, cleaning fish is nasty. Ugh. As a child, you just go where your parents take you, whether it's fishing or the circus. No, the FBI? The FBI is there. That house should have been secured from day one and should still be secured. The Keystone Cops, I've heard. So you're saying not the FBI? And that it's Pima County Sheriff's Department? Poor old Tommy must be sweating bullets. I would if I were in their shoes. Whether he's involved or he isn't involved. But because of my career as a PI, and I've interviewed thousands, many thousands of witnesses, I am able to pick up immediately on body language. I am an expert on body language. And I will say it till I'm blue in the face that when she was seen with her sister, Savannah, and her brother, Cameron, and when Annie was seen leaving her house before they towed her car for 5 weeks with her husband, Tommaso, also known as Tomato here, I did not like the body language. And I'm not saying that the body language says that they're guilty, but the body language showed me that they were hiding something or they were ashamed of something. That's all I'm saying. Doesn't mean that they're involved. Remember, everybody here is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Imagine the combo after the cops leave and both Annie and Tommy looking at one another. Luna says, no, sorry, I meant like people are saying the cops scooped up. Of course. But who is at the house right now? Is it the FBI or is it Pima County Sheriff? Jay says, lived in a trailer near Pomdetry. I don't know how to pronounce that river. Lake in Missouri. Lots of catfish eating. Bass eating. Yep. Oh, somebody asked me that before and I said, I don't think so. But Melissa says, I bet bottom dollar there's a bug in their house. I doubt it, but I really do. They're back at Nancy Guthrie's house to get evidence. Okay, who? The FBI or the Pima County Sheriff? Heidi. Good comment, Heidi. I agree Annie's behavior is odd. Yeah, especially going out there with a card when Savannah was getting ready to go home to New York and they all went out, arm in arm together. And she left a card talking about burning embers. Like, what the hell? Jamie James says again, which law enforcement agency, everybody? Oh, Melissa says she thinks it's the FBI. Recluse in the house. Or recluse in the house. I love catfish. Lived in Virginia. The cops are over at Nancy Guthrie's house. They've been there for over 12 hours. Wow. I hadn't heard that. Thank you, Melissa and Kelly, for talking about that. Why would they go back for more evidence? Well, we don't know why. Something else may have come up. And that's why the scene should still be secure. My God. Annie seems shy. Probably. But it's more than that. Shouldn't they have already gotten all the evidence? Well, I would sure hope so, but apparently not. It could be stress. She could also be highly medicated. Watch Annie's breathing rate on the first video. Recluse says that's crazy. Zoom in and watch her breathing. Okay. I just don't know what's going on. Speaking of breathing, I haven't read or seen the story yet, but they're still like dissing. Is it dissing? What word am I trying to say? They're still like pointing out the interview that Hoda Kotb did with Savannah and all the you know, and the I'm trying to make the tears come out. You know, like I'm wiping tears that aren't actually there. People are still giving her crap for that performance. Hey, Trisha, welcome in. Interesting side note. I watched a live last night that showed the biology curriculum at the school T taught at included a forensic evidence section. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, apparently he's a 6th grade school teacher there locally in Tucson. And I've heard, I don't know if this is confirmed, but his bandmate, who was an alleged felon, alleged from early black that he may be a teacher too, and that his wife possibly works as some sort of an administrator at the same school that Tommaso teaches at. Is that true? Why is everyone so sure the family is not involved? I'm not sure of that at all, that they're not involved. Your facial expressions were brilliant. Ah, they should never have been cleared as suspects. Well, you know what? That's Pima saying they're cleared. That's Bonanno saying they're cleared. The FBI, they're running this case now. They're in charge, and nobody has been cleared by the FBI. Just saying. Yes, he was also a teacher. You mean Dominic Evans and his wife is or was in administration. Is Dominic still a teacher? Everybody's a suspect until Nancy is found. Absolutely, Jamie. And I don't like the body language. Because I still think whoever did this, like the guy that you see at the front door, and I think he was one of several, at least two. There was probably someone in the back, in the front, or the guy in the back was coming to let the guy in the front in because they were going to exit the front. I think there's still a mastermind behind this who probably wasn't at the actual scene of the crime. That could be. No clue, but allegedly T has not been employed there since 2024. You mean Tommaso? I know they in 2025, it was just March 2025, less than a year before this occurred, they bought, what was it, a $650,000 home? Or I had the amount at the time, but I was like, well, how does a school teacher get the deposit? How does he, qualify for the loan? Now, the loan, you would have no idea how much he owed, depending on how much was put down and what the interest rate is and how many years the loan is taken out. But it was like a school teacher and a poet. How are they buying that house? I mean, I've bought real estate before. As a single woman, it's not easy. Yes, he worked the 2024-2025 year and then not employed. That's very interesting, Trisha. And you're talking about Tommaso. You're not talking about Dominic, right? You're talking about Tommaso? Yeah, Melissa says, have you noticed no one has come out and gave glowing praise for Tommy? Exactly. Recluse says, maybe Nancy. Maybe Nancy what? They have all gone to ground. What did I miss? I didn't know all that about Tommaso. Yeah, let's figure all this out together, people. They're talking about the family let the police go back into Nancy Guthrie's house. Helped with the house. I think she did help with the house. Remember, she had to take out a second loan for her house, which was probably paid for, but she took out a loan. Probably against her mortgage. There is a second loan that was on that house in 2017, and we don't know what it was for, but it was for 70 grand. And her payments were $168 a month for 35 years. At the time, she would have been maybe 75, 76, 76, 77. Let's say mid to late 70s. Why does a woman of that age take out a $70,000 loan? Demand his tax returns, April. Well, if the investigators that are gathering the evidence are smart, They are going to look into his financial background. They're going to look into every bank account, every tax return, every transaction. Well, the house is totally compromised, Jay. It was compromised within the first 20 hours of the investigation. Kellyanne, the family is letting the police go back into the house with no warrant. Go for it. Yeah, there was that 2017 loan, and it's on Google. Just type in Nancy Guthrie and her address, and boom, it pops right up. Now, I have never run a title search to see the current status of any of these loans, but at that age, take a 35-year mortgage, a second mortgage on the house, and then another YouTuber, not me, another YouTuber said that she was behind on her property tax as well, and that they confirmed it. I didn't confirm it. That was the first I heard of that. If that's true, why was this woman having financial issues? I don't think she's a big spender. Maybe to help out one of the family members. Ding, 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 ding. Exactly. Now, that doesn't mean that the family took her out. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't. You have to look at the people closest to her. This is one of two things. This is somebody who was out to get revenge or money from Savannah Guthrie, or in like 90% of kidnappings, abductions, and unalivings, it's someone closely connected to you that you know, such as a family member, co-worker, neighbor, someone that works at the house, someone in the immediate circle. That's a tough question, Melissa says. Do you think Savannah might be in some sort of denial? Yes. I'm gonna go with yes. She said mom's in heaven. I think that she is, but I do think that she could be in denial about a lot of things. She's got a lot on her plate right now. Now, I'm not saying that she was behind in her property taxes, Lunas. Let me make that very clear. I'm saying that it was reported by another YouTuber, maybe more than one, that said she was behind on her property taxes and that it was confirmed. I have not confirmed it. I'm just reporting what I've heard. Everything here is alleged, reported, or my favorite new word that Nanos brought into this whole soap opera is speculative. It's speculative. Was T involved in shady things? Possibly. I mean, look at his band and the connection between his promoter and the guy in LA, the Derek Kalela, Derek, who was in The Secret Mutilator, and they're promoted by Mojito, who has booked both of those bands at some of the same venues. Not necessarily the same evening, but remember, we did a video here. If you go back on all my videos here, that's on the live tab regarding Nancy Guthrie. We talked about what's called the 6 degrees of separation and how a lot of the yahoos, characters, or as I say, actors in this story, how they know each other or they're connected. Tucson is a very small town. LA is a huge town. LA is an hour away from LA. Tucson, from one end to the other, Tucson is 20 minutes away from Tucson. That's a joke we say out in LA. LA is an hour away from LA. Sometimes LA is 2 hours away from LA. But Tucson, it's not that big of a city. And a lot of the people have lived there for decades. And they know each other through the neighborhoods or through church or through work. And, his band was, his bandmate, the drummer, is an alleged convicted felon who's been linked to possibly burglary, robbery, and fraud. I don't have the police records in front of me, the court convictions, but it seems that he kind of hangs out with shady people. Now, maybe the guy's reformed. Everybody has a chance to reform, but that band is creepy, as is the other band, Secret Mutilator. And the guy that's the promoter for both of those bands, he apparently is involved in the, got to be very careful with my wording here, the S fetish balls. And they talk about the 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 connection to the Wiccans and the pagans and the spiritual ceremonies and rituals that go on full moon. Remember, this happened on full moon. Like, I know that's going down a deep, deep, dark rabbit hole, but you know, they talked about burning embers, and then Annie writes that in her note that she lays at the memorial in front of the house when Savannah was getting ready to leave the next day to go back to New York. Like, what is she thinking? You know, supposedly they're Wiccans, but somebody told me here that Wiccans, that they're witches, but they're not pagans. But that whole, I don't understand any of that community. Even as a detective, I've not worked things like that, and that's craziness. I don't trust anybody in this case, but all the pieces don't add up. But us as the public, as civilians, we only have a small piece. We have 5 to 10% of a 500-piece puzzle. 5 to 10% would be 25 to 50 pieces. Now, you lay out on your table, you try to do a 500-piece puzzle with 25 to 50 pieces, they're not going to fit because you don't have the missing pieces. But it seems like the cops who are working this, they don't have the missing pieces either. And the FBI, they're just going through thousands of hours of video of cars and license plate reader data, and they're waiting on this DNA that wasn't even sent to the correct lab, and that's on Sheriff Bananos. Tricia says, you were talking about Annie using all these references to fire scorched. Did you know that February 1st and 2nd is the biggest Wiccan holiday of the year, the goddess of fire? I did not know that, but I know that they do their ceremonies or their rituals on full moons, and February 1st was a full moon. Melissa, why drop off an 84-year-old woman who can't walk to her letterbox, yet book her an Uber and drop her off in the dark at her front gate? Well, actually, she was picked up in an Uber to go to Annie Tomaso's for dinner and game night, and Tomaso, also known as Tommy, Tomato, whatever you want to call him, he drove her back to the house, and supposedly she entered through the garage. But they have evidence that the door only opened for 2 minutes. Now, how does someone who can barely walk from the front door to her mailbox, and some days she can't walk at all from the front door to her mailbox, why would you just drive up, open the garage door, and she just zips in like a rabbit? No. Why wouldn't you get out of the car and escort her in to make sure she doesn't fall down? That's a very suspicious part of the timeline, that he returned her to the house and it was zippity-doo-dah in 2 minutes through the garage. That doesn't make any sense. But thank you for that information, Tricia. I did not know that February 1st and 2nd is the biggest Wiccan holiday of the year. And supposedly, according to the internet, remember, everything on the internet is not true, but they are Wiccans. And I was like, what the hell is that? Like, oh my God, like, but look at his band and look at Secret Mutilator. And remember, he's the one that sent the fake ransom text saying, hey, how about that Bitcoin? You got that Bitcoin yet? Like, it was almost like he knew them. He had their personal cell numbers, Annie and Tommaso's cell numbers, like, hey, how about that Bitcoin? But yet he's connected to the same promoter that Tommaso is connected to. And they got these allegedly copycat ransom texts, not notes, but texts on their private phones from someone who's connected to someone that they know in the music industry, saying, hey, how about that Bitcoin? Is that an implication that Tommaso arranged this whole thing and all these different characters are like involved in this and now they want their pay? They want their Bitcoin? Like, remember Fargo? The guy kidnaps his wife. He doesn't want her to die. Well, crap, half of Minnesota and Fargo, North Dakota was dead by the end of the movie, including the wife, who he never intended to hurt. But, when you do a criminal act like that and you hire criminals, known criminals, to do an act for you, which is possible, things can go wrong. And she could have passed away. And then they were like, oh no, now what do we do? Because now they've got a body to get rid of that they've already taken from the house. And how are they going to get the ransom when they can't show proof of life? Like, everything is on the table here. Everything. Lunas, I live in a small community, and well, we don't need police station. The community are the police. Haha, honestly, they seem to know it all. Heidi says strange. Trisha, T honors the Celtic goddess Brigid, associated with poetry, healing, and fertility. It is a time for renewal, setting intentions for the year, and honoring the hearth. He dropped her home, apparently. Yes, he did. I would have seen her in the house. Absolutely. She's 84 years old. Maybe he knew someone inside. It does make sense if there was a disagreement at the dinner game night. Exactly. But this wasn't a last minute crime that just was like a heat of the moment crime where people get unalived by a spouse or a loved one, and just like it happens in minutes and then they're like, whoops, I went too far. No, there was a white van in front of their house for possibly weeks before this happened. They have front porch guy in the same attire, but without the backpack and the holster and the weapon, showing up as early as possibly January the 11th. Okay, this was something that was planned over the long term. This was not like, hey, there was a domestic squabble that night and it all went bad and something very bad happened and now they got to make it look like a kidnapping or an abduction. No, this was something that was planned. And there's more than one person involved here. And I think there may be even more than two. This is a group. Remember in the John Ramsey case, the John Benet Ramsey case, one of the first lines in the ransom note was, "We are a group." And if you think back to that case and all the mistakes that were made by law enforcement and pointing out the Ramseys as suspect and not eliminating them at the very beginning, remember the ransom. Now, it wasn't written in the house. It was written ahead of time and brought to the house. We are a group. Okay? I don't think somebody's going to go and break into the home of an 84-year-old woman. And by the way, we have no signs of forced entry, even though the cops said there were. Where is it? Somebody walked into the back, through the back gate, walked into the back door, propped open the doors. Then somebody else came to the front and suspiciously removed a camera with his head hanging down. Like, what the heck was that? And then somebody opened that front screen, because you would have had to pry that with a pry bar to get that screen off the front door. Somebody opened the door from the inside. And it wasn't her, because there's evidence that she was taken from her bed. Okay? And I think she put up a fight at the last minute, and somebody popped her, and she's on a blood thinner, and she started to bleed quickly. Then she was either wrapped or carried in something. And that's why the blood stopped. That's why the bloodhound dogs from the Border Patrol couldn't pick up the scent past that front porch. Things went wrong. Like Fargo, the wife was supposed to be kidnapped, not hurt, not killed. It's just a movie, but that movie won a ton of Oscars because things really go down like that. People that need money, as her husband did in Fargo, they do bad things, even to their own family. That's not just a movie script. Stuff like that really happens. And by the end of the movie, I lost track of the body count. It was like watching a Halloween film. The body count just kept going higher and higher and higher to cover. Even the kidnappers started offing each other in that movie. Something obviously went askew in this. And I think it was that she probably passed that evening. I can't be sure of that. I don't think she's being held somewhere. She doesn't have her medication. She wouldn't have lasted more than 24 hours without those meds. I think we can just come to the correct assumption here that she's gone. She's no longer with us. And I think Savannah is finally coming around to that very distinct possibility that she's no longer with us. If she didn't think that and she thought we could go find her somewhere, she wouldn't have left Arizona. She wouldn't have gone back to the Today Show. She wouldn't be going live Monday morning. I think she knows that she's gone. And I do think that she's in denial about a lot of what was going on. But she does stick up for the sister and the brother-in-law, saying they were her primary caregivers. And they were. Let me go back to the chat. I dropped my neighbor home. She's elderly, never would leave her at her door. And it's so dark, too, at night there, you know? She could have fallen down. Jamie says, yep. Luna says bizarre. Everything is bizarre about this case, Lunas. Jamie says, I believe wholeheartedly it was someone in the family or someone that she knew. Most likely, unless it's connected to Savannah. And the reason I say that is because of all the work that I've done in my PI career with celebrities, and they are targets every single day. They walk around with a bullseye on their backs. Trisha, Annie Guthrie says she is an oracler. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that word, writer. In modern pagan, Wiccan, or occult communities, some practitioners use oracles as part of their practice and may self-identify as witches. That is so creepy. Look at Savannah, lawyer, television host, rock star. And then look at Annie. And maybe she's not a bad person, but that's weird. Very, very possible, Jamie. She probably had a heart attack given the situation of her abduction. I'm young enough to be her daughter, and if somebody did that to me, I'd probably have a heart attack before we made it through the lobby, especially with my bad heart. Oh, Trisha says from her personal Facebook. Jamie James says black magic. Ugh. Hey, Jetsep. What are the chances of the coincidence that the guy in California is somehow connected to T and Annie through music? They are connected to Tommaso and Annie through music. Do they know each other? Maybe. They have the same promoter. Secret Mutilator and Early Black have the same promoter, Mojito. And they're both these are weird bands. And these bands, some of them have been known to perform at some of these fetish parties, which then goes down the Kayla Day rabbit hole. And then remember the couple? I forgot about them. The couple, they were the goth couple, and they were doing the photo shoot on the property, out at the end of the driveway, hey. And those people are into that deep, dark world. This is like a freak show. Okay, Jay says that is another Annie Guthrie on YouTube, Trish. Okay. Thanks for saying that, Trish. Jay. Jet, he has to be. They are all part of the band scene. And remember, that guy, the guy in LA, this Derek Kalala or Kalea, whatever. He has Annie and Tommaso's personal cell numbers. And he sent the copycat ransom text, but he's like, hey, what about that Bitcoin? Did you get the Bitcoin? It was a personal, it was a conversation between parties that knew each other, that may be involved in some sort of a transaction. Hey, you better give me that Bitcoin or I'm going to, no, hey, how about the Bitcoin? To me, those texts sound like somebody that's already involved with somebody who's involved in the situation. It is a coincidence her daughter is Savannah. Well, because her daughter is Savannah and she's famous, she has a bullseye on her back. So somebody could have kidnapped her mother for ransom to get money from Savannah. Did the son-in-law drop Nancy Guthrie off the night she disappeared? Yes. That's what I heard, but I don't know it's true. Yes, and he let her into the house through the garage and apparently never got out of the car. Why the hell not? And who propped those doors open? We now know that they were propped open with flower pots that are like as big as my table. Okay, those big, heavy pots. I couldn't even move those pots with my bad back. Those are heavy. Those probably weigh like 50 pounds or something. How did they push those, who did that? Why was the back gate unlocked? Was the back door unlocked? Who pushed those pots? Why did he drop her off in the garage? In 2 minutes. How does somebody who's that jacked get out of the car and get into the house in 2 minutes? No, but it explains just dumping her off. Yes, 2 weeks of watching. There was definitely reconnaissance done, pre-surveillance that was done before this, or pre-abduction surveillance that was conducted before this happened. This was brewing for weeks, at least. Jet set. Trisha, yes, I am such a more like, okay, let me try that again. Yes, I'm such a more likely than not type of a person that I just keep going back to the basics of it's probably someone within the inner circle and it's probably money or revenge related. Yep, jet set. I agree. Trisha, the husband and I have tiffed and he's dumped me at the store door and parked as far away as he could. Exactly, Jet. Trisha says, why do none of the photos shown of Nancy with her kids always missing Cameron? That's because Cameron, he's in the military in Vermont. And he's married and has kids. He's no longer flying the fighter jets, but he's still with the Vermont National Guard, I believe. Even the Christmas card, he's the only one missing. Yeah, he lives 3,000 miles away. The guy had the mouth light on and looked down and knew there was a step there. Yes, he did. No, he's been there before. Melissa, yes, I love Fargo. I love Fargo too, especially the lady that was the pregnant cop. What is her name? Is it Frances McDormand or something? What was her name? She won an Oscar. She's fabulous. And Bill Macy, being the one, he was the conspirator behind the kidnapping. He's a fantastic actor as well. Lunas, yes, it can all go wrong, big time for sure. Oh, look what happened in the John Benet Ramsey case. That was actually a planned kidnapping. It all went wrong. Because the mastermind, and I think I do know who the leader is in that, but I'm not going to name names, hired criminals to go do the job, and it all went to hell in a handbag. And then it went bad with poor law enforcement and that first cop that was at the scene who, oh my God, that Linda Arndt. What a scary person. And then she said, well, I just knew he did it, and I was so scared that he was going to kill everybody here. You know, I would be more scared to be alone in a room with Linda Arndt than I would be John Ramsey. John Ramsey, you're welcome to walk through my door. Linda Arndt? No. That's a very scary person. It has been suggested that the amount someone was paid to make this happen paid more than $1.2 million, and that is why no one is coming forward. Interesting. Yeah, you know, sometimes people get an advance payment and then they get the rest of it after the ransom is secure. She could barely walk down to the mailbox most days. Yes, some days she couldn't walk there at all. Luna, she knows in her heart. Who, Savannah? Recluse, absolutely. And I'm speaking from experience on that. Celebrities are target every single day. And their families, their spouses, their significant other, their children, their siblings. Everyone is a target. Savannah has children. If they were going after Savannah, they would target her children for a huge ransom. Not necessarily, because I'm sure her children are extremely well protected. Nancy, she's wide open. She's so wide open, she don't even have a subscription on her Nest doorbell camera. Easy mark. 84-year-old woman living alone in the middle of the desert. Very super easy target. Her kids, that would be a much bigger job to do. Annie comes across as someone who is submissive to her husband, possibly. Yes, but Savannah may be a tad bit scared of Annie to give her glowing accolades on her special powers and insight. That's possible too. She may be going along and not wanting to rock the boat. I do not see Jay. Where is Jay? Oh, Jamie James. I see Jay. Jamie James says, agreed, April. It's insane. This whole case is insane. That van involved for sure. Absolutely. And you know who had a white van that was broken down apparently out front of the mother-in-law's house? Was Carlos Palazuelos. He had a white van for delivery in Tucson. The guy that lived in Rio Rico. And I still think he was detained because he has the same name as his father, who is a convicted offender in Tucson. And then maybe his cell phone, being a delivery person, pinged around the weeks leading up to, because yeah, he probably has been in that neighborhood before. But I think there was, there's Carlos Sr. and Carlos Jr., but yet he did have a white van. But a lot of people out west drive white vehicles because of the heat. That's a very common color. White vans are everywhere, as are white Kia Souls. Don't forget that. That's been dismissed way too quickly. Jet Set. When I sat on another chat that it wouldn't be easy to get someone's phone number off the internet, hundreds of people argued with me. Oh, I could get, well, I'm a PI though, so I have access to databases that the general public. I have access to databases that are used by law enforcement, insurance companies, and law firms, and some that are just specialized for PIs. I could have Annie's entire life, or Savannah, Annie, Savannah, Tommaso, all of them. I could have their social security numbers, their date of birth, their phone numbers, their address history in under 5 minutes. Now, those databases that are just for civilians, when you buy that stuff off the web, a lot of it is old information, like 90% of it. So don't ever waste your money. Just save your money and hire a real investigator and make sure they're following the laws. Because as a PI, we can't just, get a call from you like, ringy dingy, will you go find somebody's address for me? Well, yeah, I can find it. But if you don't have like a court order that needs to be served to them, I can't give it out to you without their permission. Chicago in the house. Hey, Gene. Welcome, Chicago. I'm in Los Angeles. What's the weather today in Chicago? Lunas, we start to overthink everything. Yes, it's usually simple right under our noses. It's usually right in front of you. Hamoud. Okay. We're not allowed to talk about that on the channel. So you're timed out, Hamoud. See you tomorrow. Heidi, does anyone know if T went straight home? We don't know that. That's a good question. I'm sure the police would know, or he's got a story for the cops. Annie Guthrie is Arlo Guthrie's daughter. The dad went by the nickname Arlo Guthrie, but not Arlo Guthrie the singer. That was a nickname for Charles Guthrie, was Arlo Guthrie. Or, I mean, Wait a minute. Scratch that. I think it's Cameron. Is it Cameron that has the nickname Arlo, or was it? Because he's also Charles. They're both Charles Guthrie, but the brother goes by Cameron, and the father went by Charles. And I think the nickname in the military, because you know pilots, they have a nickname. They call him Arlo Guthrie. But Arlo Guthrie, the singer, no, he's not involved with the Guthries. We talked about that at the beginning of the series, I believe. I'll have to look that up. But no, there's no connection to the Arlo Guthrie. You are here, Jay. Thank you. I'm glad you're still here. Jay, there is an interview Annie gave to someone when she was promoting her book, The Dark Whatever, where she confirms she is an oracular writer and teaches a course at the college. That's just, ugh. Now I got to look all this up. What are they teaching at that college? Exactly. Harry Potter College. Trisha, there is also another reason for the white vehicles since late 2020 because of the shortage of workers. They made white the primary color because it is cost effective. I hadn't heard that, but I believe that. Hey, Hearts of Gold, how you doing? Oh my God, Hearts. Hearts is she's my very first mod, and she's my very first member. And you missed the biggest show that I've had yesterday. And I wasn't even going to go on yesterday. I ended up getting 13 super chats, 2 gifts that were the jewels, 2 members, another member after the show, and some guy came in from Israel, sent 8 super chats and a PayPal. Like, I just like wanted to burst into tears. You should rewatch that. Crazy. Okay, you can watch from the beginning later. I appreciate it if you do that. That helps with I really need to get the channel views up now that all the views that came before the monetization don't count. I'm okay. I'm in a better mood just knowing like how well yesterday's live went. You missed something good. You sure did. Leanne, hey, welcome in. That was super cool. Yes, it was. And I completed a whole goal. Yeah, I never did that before. Hey, Hearts. I know it's TMI, but I'm going to be truthful. I'm very transparent. I've been drinking the water, and I've been drinking this, and I need to make a quick trip to the ladies' room. So, Hearts and Trisha, can you guys entertain the chat for 1 minute? Oh, let me take off my mic so I don't have a hot mic in the restroom. Thank you. Let me put my mic back on. Can you guys hear me now? Okay, Heart says, I know you were excited. This is awesome. I'm so happy for you. Thank you, Hearts and Trisha. Confetti came down and everything. Oh, sorry, I missed it. Hey, Kathy. Hey, she was a rock star yesterday. She contributed to 2 of those super chats and became a channel member and gifted a channel member to I think it was Jet Set. Do you remember who you gifted? Thank you so much, Kathy. It meant the world to me. Yeah, that is great, isn't it, Hearts? Yeah, you know, they say you shouldn't hold it because it'll raise the blood pressure. Happy Easter to everybody. Exactly. Oh, the big Easter lunch. I'm not doing anything for Easter. Maybe I'll watch the ball game. Not sure if I'll go to live tomorrow or not. You made sourdough bread? That's my favorite, Hearts. And apple crisp for tomorrow. Oh my gosh. No, Knighted. Don't get inappropriate now, Knighted. Or we'll have to take you out again. Oh my, I was so enjoying the chat here. It's 1:24 in the morning. Yikes. Good job. No work tomorrow. Oh, wow. It's 1:24 in the morning? Oh, yeah, you're in Italy. Oh, God. Well, get some sleep, Lunas. Thanks for coming into my channel, and thanks for subbing. I hope to see you back. Rewatch the videos. Yeah, Lunas came all the way from Italy. Jane Rice says, yum. Yep, I make usually 1 to 2 sourdough breads a week. Gosh, I wish I lived closer to you, Hearts. Kathy says, I am leaving for a staycay tomorrow after church. We'll have a great time. Oh, thank you, Patricia, for taking care of that. Yeah, can you believe it? Italy? We've had like India, Australia, New Zealand, Brazil, the UK, Italy, Canada. I'm amazed. I wish so too, Hearts. I wish I could mail you one, but it would be stale. Yeah, it would take a while to get here from Maine. Hey, Brenda! Happy Easter, April. I love sourdough bread ever since your dad and you introduced it to me. Yeah, I was introduced to it when I was only a year old when we had to go to the San Francisco Bay Area to live. We were supposed to be there 6 months and would go in every weekend into the city. I was just, being pushed around in a stroller, and we ended up being there for like 2 years. So I actually remember that quite well. In fact, somewhere there's a picture of me standing in the apartment holding a big loaf. I'm like I think I'm in like a dress or something. I'm standing there with my San Francisco sourdough bread. And I still love it to this day. Boy, Brenda, you missed a show. Let me just, everybody, this is my cousin. Say hi to cousin Brenda. And I'm so glad that you found me on here. I thought Randy told you, but she just was on YouTube one night, and there I was, and she couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it either. Last night's show, there was 13 super chats. I met my goal. I got 2 memberships, a PayPal. Another member came in after the show. Like, you should rewatch that, Brenda. You would be so proud. I'm proud of me. My friend Kelsa in heaven is proud of me. I could just feel her love. It is a very healthy bread for me, no preservatives. Yep, in Vallejo. That's exactly right. My mom made sourdough all the time. Thanks. I'll be back. I will watch them. Yeah, Brenda, Lunas is here from Italy. Hey, Kathy, I didn't even see that. Here we go. Kathy was a rock star yesterday. Kathy sent 2 $10 super chats and became a channel member. It's $4.99 a month for the level 1. I think level 2 is like $9.99. I haven't got any level 2s yet. And she got it all going, and then everybody, and there was some guy that came in, Brenda, from Tel Aviv, Israel, and he sent 8 super chats that were in Israeli shekels. And then he also threw out a message and said, hey, make sure you check your PayPal. And I couldn't do it during the show, and I did afterwards. And there was a pretty large donation that was an early birthday gift. So, yeah, what a day, Brenda. It made me feel like I might actually be able to be successful at this. If I could just get the views up. Because all the views I had leading up to the night of the 25th don't count. Have a great day, Luna. Sosa. Welcome in, Sosa. Where are you coming in from? Let's see. Jet Set says hi to Brenda. I'm not sure I get what's going on here, Sosa. I must have missed something. Oh my God, Hearts of Gold! My very first member. Oh, I wish you weren't in Maine, Hearts. I wish you were closer. I'd just give you a big hug. Yeah, Israel. And he sent 8 super chats. 8! And the first one said $69.90, and I misread it. And I thought, how do you send $69.90? Like the little slide button doesn't work like that. And then it had like a little symbol. And my guy, my one of my mods, Kermudge from Alaska, who had to leave early to go get ready for his live, I was like, do you see that currency? Like, do you recognize what it is? And somebody looked it up, and then I kept saying, where are you from? You know, just tell me, what country are you in? I want to know what currency this is. And it was Israel. And people were like, well, it's only like so many cents of their money compared to our money, so it's not really that much. And I'm like, no, it's still more than I have ever received. And then he just kept sending and sending and sending. And then he went on to the main channel page where I have all the channel links under the description. And he said, hey, I sent you a PayPal. And I was just like, oh my God, And luckily he came in today, so I was able to thank him. Trisha, how special, April. Congratulations. I know. I know, maybe someday a trip. Exactly. Let me know. Sometimes the slide button gets stuck on 99. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, I love Kermudge. I did go to his live yesterday, but I came in kind of late, and I actually sent my friend Rob and Sarah, my friends there, a super chat. I decided to. Oh, Kathy sent another membership. Well, thank you, Kathy. Let me give you a hype. And who got it? Who got the membership? Oh, Kellyanne Sullivan. Received a gift membership by Kathy Mowery. Thank you, Kathy. Leanne says there's still hope for humanity. So, Brenda, I don't know. It takes at least a couple of days sometimes for YouTube to re-upload the chat part of a live video. Like, you can go into the YouTube channel and click the live button rather than the video button, and you can see yesterday's live, but YouTube has to go through the chat and they have to process and check everything before they'll release it. So it can take anywhere from 2 days and on rare occasions more than a week. But, just slide through the comments. If you see the video, you'll see comments at the bottom. Swipe left. And if you swipe left, that'll bring you to the chat and it'll start replaying. But it takes a while to show up. And then you can see everything that happened. In fact, let me go. Since I'm on my channel right now, let me just sign out of this video. And I'm going to go to live. And I'm going to click. It was a 2-hour. God, I didn't know it was a 2-hour show. And then the comments are there. And then you swipe left and it says, hype this video. I don't know what that means. Be the first to hype. Anybody can explain that to me, I would appreciate it. And then you swipe to the left one more time. I guess it's already up because it says, see what others said about this video while it was live. So if you watch it like that, not only it's a very good video, but you can see the chats, the super chats, and the gifts as they came in. Yeah, sweet, huh? Hearts, I agree. Leanne, I did not know that YouTube goes through all the comments. Yeah, they do on the live chats. They do. Comments are separate than comments that you see in the chat. So now that video is posted and it says April Davis PI is live, JLR investigates police report. And and you'll see that it had 36 thumbs up. The first thing that'll come up is the comments, and it says 23. There were 23 comments since this live has, reformatted as a video. Then it says, this is the part I don't understand, be the first. Hype this video. Kellyanne! Oh my God. What does this mean? Okay, Trisha. See, she knows everything. I would be lost without Trisha, Brenda. This lady is a professional YouTuber. Hyped on YouTube refers to a feature allowing viewers to support smaller emerging creators, 500 to 500,000 subscribers, by boosting their videos, helping them rank on a special leaderboard. Users get 3 free hypes per week to promote new videos, increasing visibility beyond likes and shares. Well, yeah, you know what? If that's the case, if it's free, you can hype this video, or can you hype this video while it's playing, or is it only to hype videos that have already been uploaded? Hart said she did not know that. So hyped. Can this one be hyped, Trisha, because it's still going live? Or could only one that I've already recorded and uploaded be hyped? Maybe you guys should go to the video list where I did that suspect video, because nobody's seeing that. And that's a long form content. It's about 23 minutes long, and it goes through all the suspects from beginning to end of the Nancy Guthrie case. And I've only had like maybe a couple hundred views on that. Like, maybe it's made $2. And I'm like, I spent 48 hours on that, and I just lost sleep over it, and I've made $2 from that. Like, oh my God. So maybe we can go hype that one if it's free and it doesn't cost you guys anything. Trisha says 3 free hypes per week to promote new videos, increasing visibility beyond the likes and the shares. So it's engagement, basically. Oh, you've hyped me several times, Heidi? Can you guys do that during my live? Or is it only for videos, like older videos that, like the long form content, or the lives that have already completed and now they've, shown up as a replay? Let me know how that works. Thank you, Heidi. Okay, Trisha has answered my question. I don't know what I would do. Trisha, I owe you so much. No, you cannot use the YouTube hype feature on a video while it is still live. Hype is exclusively for long-form, pre-recorded videos uploaded within the last 7 days. While you cannot hype a live stream, you can use the feature on the video once it is archived and published as a standard video. Oh, wow. Okay. So you guys could go to yesterday's video, the one that says JLR investigates police report, and I got the 13 super chats. You can hype that, or, what might help is go to the video tab where I have the Nancy Guthrie suspect list. And if you want to use, you can use it my channel or somebody else's channel if it doesn't cost you. Go hype that video. Joe, welcome in. It is only offered on lives showing as replay. Thank you. Leanne says, what's hyped? That just came up for me because I wanted to see if yesterday's video, if they had already uploaded the chat. Because look, here is yesterday's video. But see at the bottom, it says comments. It's hard to see, but it says comments. And when you're looking at the comments, you have to swipe that left in order to get to the chat, because there's 3 little dots there. Hard to see, but there's 3 little dots. So one is for comments. One swipe to the left is hype this video, be the first, give points to your favorite videos, and there's a hype button. Then you swipe it to the left one more time, and it says live chat replay, see what others said about this video while it was live. I have somebody that is continuously coming into my comments after the video, and they're saying hi, 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 like I'm here, but they don't realize that the video is not live anymore, and they're just putting an after live comment. So they think they're typing in the chat. And some people get mad. They're like, I'm here, don't you see me here? They think they're that I'm still recording this live. And it can be videos that are days old. And they think that I'm live. And if they go to the comments, someone's going to see that live and say hello back to them. But it's not live. It's the comments. So there's comments and there's chat. There's a difference. But most people, when they go to watch the replay on a live, they don't realize that you have to swipe that comments button to the left on your screen to be able to see the chat replay. I'm still learning every day. I would be lost without Tricia here. And Joe confirms it is only offered, meaning hypes, on live showing as replay. And if anybody's hyped me, thank you, because I have no way of knowing that. It just came up randomly. Do you want to hype this video? You know what? If you have a choice, I would say go to when we're done here, go over to my video tab and go to the one where it shows the suspect. It's the suspect video. In fact, let me see what it's called. It's the most recent long form. Oh, I can't see it in order right now. Oh, here it is. Nancy Guthrie, missing person, possible suspects. Yeah, now it says I have 313 views. Maybe you guys could go hype. Let's see, comments, hype, live chat replay. There is no live chat replay there because that's not a live video. That's a recorded video. It's a way to get a video on the leaderboard. Oh, okay. Thank you, Tricia. Oh, I got to work on videos this summer. Yeah, I'd love to see you, hearts. We all would. Hey. Oh, my God. Let's get her to the goal. Dang, Kathy. You guys only do this if you have the money to do so. It's not required to be a member. Joe. And we don't have a choice as to which video channel it is randomly offered to the viewer. We don't have a choice as to which video channel it is randomly offered to the viewer. I don't know what that means. You mean not everybody has the hype button? I challenge you. Thank you, Kathy. Jamie James. I see the hands up. What is that? What does that mean? The two hands together? Is that praise? What is that? Joe says LOL. Hart says LOL. Kathy says 2 to go. Jay, you can only hype 3 times a week. Okay, you know what? I'm going to start doing that to some of my fellow YouTube content creators. And Hearts, if you start doing videos, like, I'll hype yours since you're my mod here. I have some but need to do new ones. Okay, I'll go check them out. Heidi! I didn't even see that. Says I got 4 minutes to go. Thank you, Heidi. Don't have to pay for hypes. Yeah, they're free. But I didn't know what they were. So thank you, Tricia, and for the others that helped explain this to me. Hype randomly pops. Okay, so not everybody has access to the button? I just saw that when I wanted to show people, like, make sure if you're watching a replay of a live, it won't apply to just long-form content videos, but if you're watching a live video on replay and you want to see the chat, it takes a couple days for YouTube to process that live chat, but you can swipe left. So that's if Brenda is still here and she wants to watch the amazing day that I had yesterday on YouTube. Kathy Mowry, I told you I would get you. Please, just one more to go, less than 5 minutes. Yeah, my clock says 3 minutes and 33 seconds. But from what Tricia has explained to me, even when the goal ends, I guess somebody could still send something. And do all of you see the jewels? Because you guys had to explain that to me as well. Apparently, they're only available on vertical lives. Like if I just watch somebody's horizontal live or I watch somebody's long form content or even a short, that's not a possibility. So it's for content creators that are broadcasting live streams through the vertical live platform. And then there's like a little, I can't see it on my end, but there's a little gift box because I started looking up other people's lives. There's a lot of live verticals that come up late at night, like from all over the world. And then you see that little, the gift box at the bottom, and that's the jewels button. And apparently they give you, YouTube gives you that too. I don't know how people earn those jewels to hand out as gifts. And some people say you can buy them, but you don't have to buy them. I guess you get so many free jewels. Is it in a month or a week, or does it depend on how much you watch? Right, and I did not realize you have to buy the jewels. Apparently not, Hearts. I mean, you can. That's an option, but you get so many. Yeah, you only get so many, then you have to buy. Now, how do you earn those? The free ones to give? Because I would like to give mine to, one of my fellow creators. Oh, Jay says she sent a gift. And it was a thumbs up. And it says 5. Here you go, Jay. Now, money-wise, I have no idea what that means. Because I think 100 jewels is equal to 1 ruby, and 1 ruby is $1. I think that's how it works. So she must have just sent 5 jewels. So thank you, Jay. I don't know. I have been without jewels for a long time. I guess I overgave the jewels. Oh, okay. Well, you know what I did? I overgave the free memberships. And then other YouTubers were like, don't do that, because people they're not gonna become members. Kathy, we met the goal. And you know what? When we did that, did you guys see it? There was confetti that went on the screen. And from what my mod told me yesterday, Trisha, who's helped me out so much, because remember, I had to narrow down the mods. Apparently, when I was briefly monetized in 2024, early 2025, I had some mods on there that I didn't even know were there at this point. And so I had to go through the back end. I finally learned to do that. And I was like, oh my God, there's like 7 or 8 mods. I only want like 3. So, and I didn't pick anybody over the next person. I was just like delete, delete, delete. And then I noticed that some of the mods, and I don't know if it was when I was monetized before or if it's since I've been monetized now, that some of the mods had blocked people. And I didn't want to block anybody. So anybody that got accidentally blocked, everything is clear now. Brenda, sorry I missed yesterday, but if Brian and I start a YouTube about our 2 cat craziness at our house, we will rely on you to help us since I am 71 and he is 75. I would love to see that. I'd love to watch that. See, I like, especially now that I'm monetized and I'm a YouTuber, I like to watch other YouTubers, especially if it's somebody I know or someone in my gold community or my reselling community. Start a YouTube about our 2 cat craziness. You know what? My channel has taken over 5 years just to get to this point for me to be able to see a check, which I haven't even seen yet. The earliest it will come into my account is May 21st because my monetization happened at the very end of March, and you have to have a $100 minimum or you don't get paid. And I was like, darn, I wanted one for my birthday, but it wouldn't have come by my birthday anyway because my birthday's the 12th. And I wouldn't have qualified until the 21st, but there wasn't enough in the account. Now, with yesterday's show combined with this show, there will be enough money in the account that I will see a check sometime in May. So let's hope we all survive that long. Knock on wood. I'm very, very superstitious. Remember, I'm a baseball person. And baseball people, you don't step on the foul line. You're very suspicious. So I'm knocking on wood, hope that everybody is here to see that. And then I'll announce it like, I got my first check. But I've seen videos where people said, don't do that announcement because YouTube doesn't like it. And if that's true, then I'm going to keep it on the low. Trisha! Challenge accepted, Kathy. Guys. Oh my God. Okay, I see someone that appears to have come in from overseas saying, what? I have no clue. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, what? And I see a language. I don't see a username. I just see a question. And I see 521 dash, and then there's something that I don't know if it's Arabic or Arabic. Can I say that? Arabic. 3 times. Arabic. Is that Arabic? I see 521 dash and then something that I can't read. Okay. I'm going to have to just skip over that. I'm sorry. I don't understand. You would go with brain surgeon. Oh, your name is Ahmad. Where are you coming in from, Ahmad? Please, or Ahmed. Excuse me, Ahmed. I want to pronounce your name right. Where are you coming in from, Ahmed? Neurosurgeons make more money, says Hartz. Oh, I was right. Well, Hart says it's Arabic. Where are you coming in from? Yes, and you aren't going to fall out of the sky doing surgery. I would go with Army officer. You are doing something for our country. Not afraid to fall. It's the landing that will take you out. Absolutely. Yeah, who is... Oh, Dirty Money? Where are you from, Ahmed? Boy, the joys of monetization. Egypt! Oh my gosh! Wow! That is my first... That's Egyptian! Welcome in! We've had Italy today, and we've had Egypt. Oh, and we've had Australia. Yeah, our regular friend has come in from Australia, Melissa. And our new friend from Italy. And now Egypt. What time is it in Egypt right now? Jamie James, April met her goal. Let's go. It's weird because the username is coming after the messages, and usually the username comes first, and it says 521 dash. It's like in reverse. I've never seen that before. That's why you threw me, because I'm like, how are you sending me a message with no username? And then I saw the username after the text. Has anybody here, any of the mods, seen that before? Somebody coming in overseas or international, where the actual message comes in before the username. Our country needs good people helping them. You also train for being an NS while you are active. Yeah, wow. Welcome in. Yeah, you see username first. I see the message and then the username. That's very odd. Oh, no problem, Jane. Trisha says we are a military family, Kathy. I didn't know that, Trisha. Yeah, I see it again where it says I have the opportunity to, then a username, either become a neurosurgeon or an Army officer, and I am torn. What would you do? I'd probably go military just because I grew up in a defense family. You know what? Many of the mods have told me, or other YouTubers that I watch say that you should set one goal, and then when you reach it, people can still send after. Apparently, you guys can still send after the goal is already met, as far as I understand. Brenda, I toured Egypt, the best tour ever. I'm hoping to go to Italy. I've been to Italy, Brenda. So welcome both. We care about you. Yeah, we had Australia in here today too. So I've got Australia, Egypt, and Italy in today's chat, which is probably why I've gone way over time. You can do both. Get the military to pay for your schooling. A neurosurgeon, though, that's a lot of school. I probably wouldn't go with the debt of something like that. It's 1 p.m. Wow. Is Easter Sunday celebrated in Egypt? I kind of doubt it. I guess it would depend on your religious affiliation. So it's already Easter Sunday in Egypt. It's 1 p.m. tomorrow. So it's April 5th in Egypt. It's only 4:56 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time in Los Angeles, California. Kathy says our government would pay for it, April Davis, PI. Oh, for the whole thing? Pre-med and medical school? And then you'd have to go specialize. You'd have a lot more than just medical school, because then there would be the fellowships, and it just goes on and on and on the higher you are. That's a lot of school, a lot, but military is not a bad idea. With the path the world is taking right now, I would still stick with surgeon. Joining the military academy in Egypt requires a high-ranking officer to act as a mediator to get you in. Nobody enters the army just like that. Okay. He could do that on a base. Jane Rice says, Happy Easter, Egypt. Wendy. Welcome in, Wendy. Medical is not all it's cracked up to be. You know what? I'm a detective, and that's my jam. That's my skill. I would be terrible in the medical field. Hey, Wendy, where are you coming in from? I've had a lot of military personnel that has worked for me. A lot of people in the military have worked for me. And they're like, oh, you should go in the military, or you should have been in the military. And I'd be like, no, that would not be for me. You're in Kansas. Welcome in, Kansas. How about you? I'm a licensed private investigator. Medical would not be my thing. Now, would I want to go through all the training and do it all over again in my next life? Absolutely not. Residency is a grueling job. Oh, God, yes. In the USA, we can sign up for military at 17 with parental release. I didn't know that. And you can always enter as a GI in the United States, a general enlist, and then you can get your education while you're in the military. I know that's a lot on a person's plate, but then once you have that degree, you can then sign up for officers training school. Egypt is hard. Wow, I didn't know that. Hart says, both of my boys in the military, one Army and one Air Force. Oh, I didn't know that, Harts. Well, thank them for their service. Tricia says, my son was Air Force. Oh, I didn't know that. Jay says, I intended to go into medical after high school. I got married instead. Nothing wrong with that. The husband was cross-trained in the Army and Air Force. Oh, wow. My dad did defense contracts for the Navy. Can I speak? The Navy. So even though he wasn't in the Navy, he did defense contracts for the Navy, like submarines and warships. And then a lot of my best friends that I grew up with, their dads were all in the Navy, as was my uncle. So I grew up around Navy people. Hart says she loves figure skating. I have never ice skated in my life. Born in New England, but raised in warm weather climates. So, Jay says half of high school graduation class went into the Marines. That's tough. I have a very close friend who's a Fed, and his son did 3 tours of duty in Iraq as a Marine, and he somehow survived it. Hart says, I don't do it. I love to watch it. Okay. So you're trying to get into or thinking about getting into the army, says 521, in Egypt. I don't know what that is, Mr. Chowie. Your brother is an army doctor. Oh, Brenda, please tell us a little bit about life in Egypt right now, if it's okay with April. Sure, go for it. It's so weird that I'm seeing the messages and then I'm seeing the username afterwards, and it's in English and Egyptian. But that's the first. It was hard. My son did 5 tours in Iraq. Yeah, I have a friend back east, and his son did 3, and then he got his degree. So he didn't go in as an officer, and now he's also a federal agent, as was his father. The husband was a court reporter for General Court Martial. Oh, wow. Yeah, you're seeing it. You say Hearts, you're seeing his username first. I see the text like he just said Egypt is good every time, and then I see the username. I've never seen that happen where it's in reverse before, so that totally threw me. I thought, how's this person even getting a message to me when I don't see a username? Jay says, my dad was in Korea. I think it hurt him a lot. One of my best friends I grew up with, her dad was in Korea. Oh, good night, Kellyanne. Yeah, you see it completely backwards? Me too. I'm like, what? What's going on? I'm losing it. Wow, thank you, everybody, for, let me hit that. I'm not going to start another goal, but that's just crazy. Well, last night we learned about Israeli shekels. How many people knew that one? How many people here, be honest, knew the symbol instead of the dollar sign with the double line through it? How many people knew that symbol that came across for $69.90 was an Israeli shekel? Oh, I watched that show, Jay, but I was very young when that show was on. MASH. And you know what's really hard is the song, the theme song. Years later, I heard there's a long version of that song, and I can't even say the word here. I'll get in trouble with YouTube. But it was like a person that unalives themselves, like to be unalived is easy, because that's how bad like the experience was for some people. Like when they wrote that show, I don't know if they wrote the song for the show or they wrote the show around the song, but it was basically S is easy, and there's a longer version, and it's extremely depressing and dark. As women, if a neurosurgeon or an army officer proposed to you, which one would you choose? Oh, that's a hard one, because I have a lot of medical problems. I'd probably need the doctor. But, I like the guys that have the short military haircuts too, because there's nothing worse than a feminine looking man. Most of the military guys, and they've all got the sharp haircuts. My dad joined, and by the time they got to Korea, the war ended and they were shipped back to the States. Wow. You know, I was told by my mother that while we were living in the San Francisco Bay Area, even though my dad had a college degree and he was working in defense, that he almost got drafted to go to Vietnam because by then they had, it was much later on in the war and they had lost so many, like tens of thousands of troops, that they were having to, rather than just bring in the young kids that were the GIs, they were bringing in older people that had already gone through their education. And because of the job, which at the time was completely top secret, like we couldn't talk about anything. Of course, I was too young to understand. I knew what he did, but it was like top secret. Like they had to get a security clearance when we were still in New England to go start that job. And because of what project that he was on that involved Vietnam, the Vietnam War, he did not have to be drafted. And it wasn't that he was trying to get out of service, but he was already considered like what he was doing was very important to the defense of the United States of America. And, him going over, and having to go to, OTS and be in the military, like what? And go to Vietnam. We were already working remotely for something that had to do with Vietnam. So he didn't have to go. And most of the friends that I grew up with, their dads were older and they had all been in the Navy. One actually was in World War II. Another one was in Korea. Yes, Hearts. It was a sad song. You watched every episode. Oh, I was very, very young when that show came on. And when I moved back to LA, I had a very close friend from college, and her dad was an editor at 20th Century Fox, and he was doing the editing. He had worked on Star Wars, I think, but he was the editor for the syndicated version of MASH. And there was like MASH stuff all over his office. I remember MASH and Star Wars. Well, Ahmed, honestly, both could be bad for a woman. Brenda says, YouTube is not crazy. It is finally about real people who communicate. Yes, gives us a chance. Well, thank you, Brenda. S is easy. That's what it was called. I heard that once, and I was like, that sounds like the MASH song. And I can't remember, like I was in a store or something, they play like music through the PA, and I was like, that's the MASH song, but it's like a full version. And then I looked it up, and I was like, oh my God, it's so dark. Trisha, a doctor would work long hours and an officer would be tore up from war. Yeah. Korea was dark, I bet. But a doctor would actually be here. And I need a doctor. I have a Korean electrophysiologist, cardiologist, and he is one of the best in the world. I would love it if he was my neighbor. Either way, seeing your spouse would be difficult at best. Yeah, with the hours. Trisha, Ahmed, I dated a doctor and his mother told me that I should be realistic about what my life would look like. Cheating is big, addictions are high, and there are a lot of lonely hours. That is true because of the medical. I've done a lot of medical investigations in my career, and doctors, a lot of doctors are addicted to substance, or they have substance abuse. A lot of them. It would have been too dangerous for him. He knew too much. Kathy. A neurosurgeon would also cause PTSD. Trauma is real. Yeah, that would be a tough job. I wouldn't go there. But it would be nice to have a doctor around. Trisha, absolutely, Kathy. Hearts, GP, and Mama Bird having a MASH show, April. Oh, I didn't know that. When? Those are our friends in the gold community. I think GP, wasn't he in the army or something before he was a A first responder. In Egypt, we are afraid for my women. You watched the entire series as an adult. Yeah, I don't remember it very much. I mean, I know I've met one of the actors that was in it, Mike Farrell. And I've been on set before years ago with his wife. He seemed like a nice guy. He was really tall. Ahmed, you have to follow your heart passions or you will eventually grow to hate your job. Yeah, I love what you do. That's the best advice. Thank you, Tricia. That is the best advice. I applied to the military and they told me I was qualified to be a pilot. However, I didn't have a strong enough mediator to get me in. Oh, I'm sorry. There is a YouTuber that is from Egypt. Awesome. What is April 15th besides tax day? Oh, your uncle went to high school with Jamie Farr. You know, sometimes my head gets stuck on a name. I'm going to look this up. Oh, I just thought of it. Shelley Fabre. She's the daughter or niece. She's the niece of Nanette Fabre. Shelley Fabre, who God knew her or was on a set with her in 83 and 84. She is married to Mike Farrell. I was trying to think of her name. I was just like, things get slow at this age. Trisha, I am a woman of a certain age. I'm here in the States. We do not ask a woman her age or weight. Okay, we've gotten way off track here, but I thank you for coming in all the way from Egypt. That's amazing. And thank you to all the people that sent the super chats. And I think, yeah, somebody sent, was it Jay? Sent 5 jewels. And I think somebody gifted a membership to Kelly Ann Sullivan. Was that Kathy? Thank you for the gifted membership. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the jewels. Heidi says, I am from Toledo. Jamie Farr grew up here. The restaurant Tony Paclos that he mentions in MASH is there. It is awesome. Hungarian hot dogs. Oh, I didn't know that. I remember the show just a little bit. In fact, one of the actors on that show just recently passed, like within the past year or so, I think. Jason, hello, hello. I remember 20 years ago watching the History Channel, and they blamed Dick Van Dyke that he was the Zodiac Killer. I doubt that. You know, when he had his 100th birthday out in Malibu, he lives in a house that he's lived in for many, many decades, and the house used to be owned by Margot Kidder, believe it or not. And he had his big 100th birthday celebration, and there's been all these photos that have popped up on, the internet of Dick Van Dyke's 100th birthday celebration. And there was one picture where somebody famous, I forget, was sitting next to him, and then another lady was sitting next to him wearing glasses. And I looked at her and I was like, I know that person. And then I realized it was my former neighbor. And she's the daughter of Tony Mordenti and Cheetah Rivera. And her and I were friends, and our pets were friends, because her dogs would come to my apartment to see my then mixed Maine Coon, Spooky, because he was a dog lover. And I saw she had since moved to New York since her mother passed, but I saw her at Dick Van Dyke's house in a picture, and I was like, "Oh my God, there's Lisa Mordenti! Like, I haven't seen you in so long!" Like, And then I was like, oh, I thought she was in New York now, but oh, yeah, you guys probably don't know who that is. That's Cheetah Rivera, Tony Mordenti. I guess Tony was in Love Story. Congrats. You reached your goal 2 days in a row. I know. But yesterday, after I reached my goal, I got like 3 more. Saw Margot Kidder in a former stadium called Kingdom here in Seattle back in the 80s. You know, I've never met Margot Kidder, but I have known a lot of people in my life who knew her. I've never met her, and I've seen so many of her films, back in the old days, because I'm that old. And she's a fellow Canadian, like I have a good friend that's in show business in Canada. And at one time, she was the highest paid entertainer that ever hailed from Canada when she was in her, rolling in the money days. And I regret that I never had an opportunity to meet Margot Kidder. But yeah, her house that she lived in Malibu for a while, I think she bought it with her Superman money. It has been occupied for years by Dick Van Dyke. And I've actually worked in that neighborhood. It's a gated community in Malibu. I've worked in that neighborhood, God, at least a dozen times in my career. Yeah, and Margot Kidder, she's no longer with us. Very sad. April, MASH night, April 13th, Monday, Mama Bird and GP. Okay, thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I reached my goal, Kathy, in 2 days. But yesterday, do you remember, Kathy, did I set another goal? Or did I just meet the goal and then the extras came in? Because I think Trisha told me that once the goal is met, people could still send one without setting up another goal. Because I wanted to make sure that, because remember I had that one show that went crazy and people were like, I was trying to send and I couldn't send. And I thought, well, maybe my goals were expiring too soon. And then it went off and then people couldn't send. I just want to make sure that I'm not shooting myself in the foot by not setting another goal. I didn't know that, Brenda. I know Richard Pryor is from Peoria. I did not know that about Dick Van Dyke. And God bless him, he's still alive. And Trisha, and remember, you can only use the YouTube Hype feature through the official YouTube mobile app on Android or iOS. Oh, it only works on mobile apps. I didn't know that either. I didn't even know what that was. And if you guys weren't here earlier, you guys do know that on the main channel page, the home page, where you go through my description and you see all my links, if you guys aren't a member of Whatnot, and you've never signed up before, sign up using my code. And if you use my code, they'll give you $15 shopping money. It won't pay the shipping, but it'll pay for your item. And I've got 15 of these old April Davis PI YouTube channel poker chips. That's from an old logo. And I've got like 25 of the stickers that were made for me by our friend Alaskan Assassin Adventures. So if you need a sticker or you need a poker chip from the station, or from the channel, and you want to get it for free, just go over to sign up to the Whatnot. The link is in my description. Now, if you're already signed up to Whatnot, you're not going to get the referral shopping money. But my store is April Davis PI. Same thing on eBay is April Davis PI, YouTube April Davis PI, and Whatnot is April Davis PI. It should help with the algorithm, meaning the goal is met. Okay, Kathy, but does that mean that after I've met the goal that nothing more comes in? Ahmed, be sure to sub. We want to follow your choices. It will be interesting to find out which path you took. Yes. I hope everybody watching is subbed, and I hope everybody that's watching right now will smash that like button. Or just send some hearts, some red hearts across the screen. Thank you, Ahmed. Oh, you have 2 great grandkids, Tricia? I didn't know that. Interesting, on mobile app, I have the gift package to send Jules. Yes, but only on vertical lives, hearts. On vertical lives, the Jules replaces what's called super stickers. And you know, I've got a lot more super chats than I would have ever dreamed of since I became monetized. But what I'm not getting are the super thanks on the videos. Is anybody watching? Everybody here, let me know, yes or no. Are you guys watching my long form content videos? Because I'm not seeing a lot of traffic on those videos, and I'm not seeing, I think I have only 1 super thanks. Even I think the lives, once I'm off live and the video, processes to YouTube, I think this super thanks is available on those as well, but I haven't seen any. I've seen 1 the night I was monetized. Oh, you've watched a few of them. Okay. Oh, you saw the one about the house? You said you saw the one on Natalie Wood? Did you see the one about the haunted house? Because I do mention Natalie Wood. It's not really about her, but it is about that house in particular. Hearts! Thank you. Sent a silver star. Thank you so much, Hearts. Oh, you saw it, Leanne. I want some of the videos that I usually just watch the live. Oh, you watch some of the videos, but you usually watch the live. Okay. James says yes. Leanne says you've watched a few. Thank you, Leanne. Jet Set JP says he's watched. Are you a he or a she, Jet Set? Kathy says I haven't had time. I am really busy. Well, if you guys want to see a good one, if you're following me because of the Nancy Guthrie series, you might want to watch the live or the long form video on the suspect video. And if anybody knows how to use the hype button, that's probably the one that needs to be hyped. The long form content video, and it's the most recent one on the list. It's at the top of the list. It's about Nancy Guthrie and the suspects. So yeah, if anybody wants to use their free hype points, please use it on the Nancy Guthrie suspect list video. And for anybody that's seen that, I know my editing kind of isn't so great, but did anybody enjoy that? Jet Set is a she. Thank you for clarifying, Jet Set. Heidi, gotta go play cards with family. Great show. See you guys. Oh, we've been going way, way too long. Yes, you saw it, Jane. And did you like it? Thanks for coming, Heidi. Appreciate you. And I think she sent a super chat, didn't she? Thank you. I'll be able to see it later on the back end because it'll take a few days for the chat to re-upload. Okay, Jamie James says, yes, you can hype points 3 times a week, I think, for vlogs and long-form content. You will be hyping. Thank you, Heidi. Yeah, that video, it took me 2 days to put that together, and I feel like I gave up on the editing way too soon. And then I realized, well, most people don't even watch to the end anyway. Just F it, And then there's one guy's name, that Zach Jaghoob. His last name there's just a typo, and I know how to spell his name, but it just got messed up somehow. Because, your eyes just go blurry after a while. Let's see. It brought me over to Facebook. My friend Stacy just popped up from Days of Our Lives. Okay. Let me go back to... Yeah, it's called Nancy Guthrie Missing Person, Possible Suspects. It's that one right there where you see the masked man and you see the sketch. That's the one. That's what everybody needs to watch. Brenda, if you're still here, please, cousin, can you watch that? And watch it on a mobile device so you can, I think the hype buttons only work on mobile from what these people here are saying in the chat. Okay, I started that one. We'll go finish that video. Thank you, hearts. Happy Easter, hearts. I wish I could get some of that sourdough bread. Oh, gosh. Tanya, welcome in. God bless. And you guys, thanks for chatting with each other in the chat. It just helps promote the video. I've gone way too long here. Just wanted to go over day number 63 on Nancy Guthrie. And then we did a little housekeeping regarding some of the new members and the PayPal. And there was an oopsie from Jane Rice where I was like, Jackie in Florida? Who's that? She meant Jackie, my eagle, who, by the way, her little baby, one of the babies, his or her little head has popped out of the egg. I just could cry. And we talked a little bit about the JLR, Jonathan Lee Rich's alleged arrest or citation today at an airport. Nobody seems to know anything about it. You're Irish, Tricia. I'm Irish too, and German. Well, you know what? I think we've talked about everything we were going to talk about today. Thank you so much for all the super chats and the people that sent the jewels. I'm still trying to figure out how the heck they work. Oh, you watched some of the Eagles today? Yeah, like I think it was last night. I don't remember if it was before or after midnight, but I think it was after. It was the 4th. It was today that because they still say we have a pip, so that's probably the other egg, and we have a hatchling, but it hasn't fully hatched yet. But it's the head is out of the egg. It's just like, oh my god. And you guys, if you watch those, you should watch them really late at night, those eagle videos, because if you have it running in the background at night, sometimes you can hear the howl of the coyotes. Or if you listen really careful, you'll hear the woo, 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 the hoot owl. Yeah, and sometimes the owls come to the nest. As do visits from Freddie and Fiona and the new mouse that's up in the nest, 7,100 feet up in the air. There's that little mouse in that nest. Lorraine, yes, I am getting ready to leave, but feel free to watch the replay. Now, if somebody wants to send a final, a jewel or a super chat, and they want to get hyped before I go off the air, let me know now. Because I've actually got messages sometimes. They're like, why did you go off the air? I was getting ready to send. Like, oh, well, you can always go to the super thanks button after the video. Like I said, I've only got one of those. Only one. Packing lots of boxes for moving. Oh, I remember you saying that, Jamie. You're moving out of state, is that correct? Wouldn't that be something? Yeah, usually the 5th graders from the local elementary school will choose the names, but yeah, that would be something. Rest in peace, Sandy Steers. Yeah, let's just pray that the babies make it. Remember, this is second clutch, and baby Spirit was born from a second clutch, and hopefully we will have another little hatchling coming soon. And let's pray that hatchling number 1 makes it completely out of the egg safely. It's such a wonderful thing to be an Angelino and be a proud Southern Cal resident to see something like that. Nature is amazing. Well, thank you for coming, everybody. We're down to 17 people. We got 34 thumbs up. Make sure to hit that thumbs up. If anybody wants to go send a hype, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Do it on cell phone only, and go to the Nancy Guthrie suspect list video. Oh, you're moving to Kentucky. I knew you were in Arizona. Wow, I didn't know you were going to Kentucky. Well, make sure you check back in when your move is done, Jamie. And everybody, have a wonderful evening. I think I'm going to go feed my bunny who's staring at me, and I think I'm going to eat something myself. I need to get some more hydration, and I need to eat today. Thank you so much, everybody, and nice to meet you, Ahmed from Egypt, and the other person that came in from Italy and Australia. I thank you so much.